Some stories don't begin with Egypt or with Babylon. Long before pyramids touched the sky and Hammurabi carved his laws in stone, another kingdom had already risen and then almost disappeared. This was Sumer, the first kingdom of history, a place where writing was born, where temples kissed the heavens, and where the idea of kingship itself began. But here's the mystery. Why do so few remember the people who wrote the very first chapter of civilization? What secret did they leave behind in the sands of Mesopotamia? Welcome to Lost Thrones. If you love uncovering forgotten empires and untold stories, make sure to like this video, share it with a friend. Tell us what you think, because what you're about to see might change everything you thought you knew about history. Chapter 1. The Birth of Sumer. Imagine it, around 5000 BCE. Sandy plains, winding rivers, and fertile valleys. People are still learning to live in open landscapes, relying on hunting, gathering, and seasonal floods. And then, a quiet revolution begins. Agriculture. Humans learn to control the land, channel rivers, and irrigate fields. For the first time, permanent settlements emerge. One city slowly rises, what we'd now call Sumer. Small families and scattered tribes, once isolated, unite around shared water and farmland. But a question arises. How did these simple farmers and fishermen become the founders of the world's first civilization? This chapter shows how early struggles, managing water, and cultivating the land paved the way for the first cities in human history. Chapter 2. Rise of Cities and Kingship. As Sumer's fields flourished, so did its people. Small villages grew into bustling towns. Mud brick walls enclosed homes, and marketplaces buzzed with trade. With growth came new challenges. Disputes over water, land, and grain. The scattered families needed guidance, someone to make rules and settle conflicts. Enter the first kings, leaders who combined authority with vision. They built temples, organized labor, and protected the city from rival tribes. Temples weren't just religious centers. They were the heart of Sumerian life. Priests managed irrigation, trade, and festivals, while kings enforced laws and ensured survival. And here's the twist. Sumer didn't have a single empire yet. Each city-state was independent, often competing, sometimes allying. Uruk, Ur, Lagash, and Eridu, all unique yet sharing ideas, gods, and innovations. The question lingered among the people. Can humans unite without losing their freedom? In answering this, Sumerians planted the seeds of government, law, and organized society, the blueprint for civilizations to come. Chapter 3. Writing, Trade, and Civilization. Sumer cities were alive with ideas, but how could they keep track of trade, taxes, and stories? They invented cuneiform, wedge-shaped symbols pressed into clay tablets. At first, it was simple, counting grain, noting debts, recording shipments, but soon it became a tool for history, literature, and law. Trade connected the cities to faraway lands. Copper, timber, and precious stones traveled long distances. In return, Sumer received goods no local land could provide. Markets thrived, ideas spread, and the Sumerians grew richer, not just in gold, but in knowledge. Temples and palaces became centers of innovation. Architects experimented with arches and domes. Artisans crafted jewelry, pottery, and tools. Mathematicians developed basic arithmetic and geometry to measure fields and build canals. Astronomers watched the skies, creating the first calendars. And yet, life wasn't just numbers and trade. Stories and myths shaped their identity. The Epic of Gilgamesh, Heroes and Gods, explored the limits of humanity and the meaning of life. These tales weren't entertainment. They were guides for living, warnings, and dreams of immortality. Even as cities grew, conflicts simmered. Rivalries over land and water often erupted into war. But Sumerians learned a crucial lesson. Cooperation and innovation could outlast swords. The question remained, could humans create something lasting, beyond kings, beyond temples? The answer lay in their writing, trade, and shared vision, foundations of civilization itself. Chapter 4: Science, Arts, and the Sumerian Mind. Sumerians were not just builders of cities, they were explorers of knowledge. In their workshops and temples, mathematics took shape. They developed a base 60 system. Yes, the reason we have 60 minutes in an hour and 360 degrees in a circle. Numbers were not just for trade, they mapped the heavens, measured land, and guided construction. In medicine, they observed, recorded, and experimented. Herbs, surgeries, and remedies were carefully documented on clay tablets. They sought patterns in disease and health, attempting a science centuries ahead of its time. Art and literature flourished alongside logic. Cylinder seals, etched with intricate designs, told stories of kings, gods, and daily life. Sculptures captured human and divine forms. Music, dance, and poetry resonated through temples and courts, shaping culture and emotion. Astronomy fascinated them. The movements of stars and planets weren't just mystical. They were practical tools for agriculture and calendars. Festivals, harvests, and rituals were tied to celestial cycles, connecting the human and the cosmic. And yet, all this knowledge was fragile. Floods, invasions, and political strife could wipe away generations of work. The Sumerians understood that civilization was a delicate balance. One misstep, one mismanaged canal, could spell disaster. This chapter of Sumer shows a critical truth. Human curiosity, combined with practical application, can create worlds beyond imagination. Chapter 5: Kings, Temples, and the Power of the City. In Sumer, the city was more than a home. It was a statement of power. Uruk, and Lagash were living proof that organization, leadership, and faith could shape the world. Kings were not just rulers. They were mediators between gods and people. Their authority came from divine mandate, and their words were law. Yet power was fragile. A canal broke, a harvest failed, or a rival city challenged them, and the balance could collapse. Temples were the heartbeat of each city. The ziggurats rose like mountains of stone and mud, reaching toward the heavens. Here priests kept records, performed rituals, and managed wealth. Grain, livestock, and even labor were meticulously tracked, showing a civilization that valued both spirituality and administration. War and diplomacy shaped the landscape. City-states competed for water, land, and trade. Alliances formed and broke, and treaties were etched into clay tablets. Every decision was a chess move, where a mistake could mean famine or conquest. Yet through all this, the Sumerians built a legacy that outlived their rulers. Their cities, temples, laws, and literature would influence Babylonians, Assyrians, and beyond. And behind every monumental structure and decree, there was a lesson. Power alone is fragile, but knowledge, faith, and unity can create a civilization that endures. Chapter 6: Legacy, Collapse, and the Lessons of Sumer. By 2000 BCE, Sumer's city-states had reached their peak, but greatness can be fleeting. Internal conflicts over irrigation and invasions by outside forces like the Elamites and Amorites began to shake the foundations. The walls of Uruk and Ur could not stop the tides of change. Kings fell, temples were abandoned, and some cities vanished into the sands. Yet Sumer's achievements survived. Written language, laws, astronomy, and mathematics carried on to Babylonia, Assyria, and eventually the wider ancient world. Sumer teaches a profound lesson. Civilizations are built on organization, faith, and collaboration. Without balance, even the mightiest can crumble. But ideas, once planted, can outlive empires. Look at the cuneiform tablets today. They are more than clay. They are a voice from the past, whispering how humans first tamed the river, organized society, and reached for the heavens. Civilizations fall, but their wisdom echoes across millennia. And that was the story of Sumer, the first great kingdom of human history, a civilization that rose before Egypt and Babylon and left a legacy no river could wash away. If you've enjoyed this journey through time, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Lost Thrones so you never miss the next episode of History's Hidden Empires. Curious about the next lost kingdom? In our upcoming video, we'll uncover a civilization that built wonders in the desert, yet vanished into a tomb of sand. A tale of power, ambition, and mystery you won't want to miss. Remember, history is alive. The past whispers secrets. Will you listen? Stay curious, stay vigilant, and as always, Lost Thrones will guide you through the shadows of time.